Hey brothers, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of today's video, it's going to be a more serious video. It's not going to be that funny. If you want like a more entertaining, funny video, you should watch my other stuff. It's pretty good. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 would recommend. As you can tell from the title of today's video, it's going to be my coming out story, my coming out experience, or coming out advice, And I'm so nervous filming this. I don't know why. I literally tried filming this, like 3 other times, and I had to stop because I just couldn't do it. And I don't know why, but yeah. So my sexuality and my anything about that, I've just always been really private about, and it's something I've always just thought was my business. I didn't think anybody else, it wasn't anybody else's business. I didn't think anybody else needed to hear it. It was for me. I just got, what really changed my perspective is, over the last couple months I've probably gotten, thousands of DMs of people asking me, what's your advice? How do I come out? I'm so scared, I don't know how to do it. How did your parents react? How did your friends react? My parents are really religious, my parents are really conservative. And I grew up in a very traditional religious household, and I still am really religious, so I just wanted to make this, because if it helps one person, that's all that matters. So I did a poll on my Instagram and I had thousands of questions about it. So I wrote down some of the best. Not everyone's a winner. Actually, I can't find it anymore, so oh, here it is. Alright, so I wrote down all the best ones on my phone, and I'm just gonna, go through each of the topics and, give my, I guess, advice or my experience. You can learn from it, or just, listen to the story, because it is kind of interesting. So like I said before, I grew up in a really traditional household. I always grew up being taught that, same-sex marriage was wrong. It's, marriage is meant, God made it for a man and a woman, and that's how it's supposed to be. I am a really religious person, and if you're not, that's, fine. Everyone has what they have, and everyone thinks the way they think, and everyone's entitled to the way they think. I just always struggled with, why would God make me a certain way? Why would God create me, to be, I guess hated, or to be just a sin. I was really sad about that, and that's what I always thought, because I didn't want to disappoint God, because that's, something nobody wants to do if you're a religious person. And, I just want to say, God loves you no matter what. God made you the way that you are, everyone's born this way. I don't think it's a sin. I think, love can't, how could love be a sin, unless it's something gross, you love, your dog, or, children or something weird like that. That's not, it's not normal, but, it's not a sin. God loves you, and God created everyone equal, and that's just my, advice for if you're struggling with, religion and God and stuff like that, because that's something I struggled with for a really long time. Like I said, growing up in a really religious, family, I was kind of scared about the way my parents would, take it, but one thing I want to say is, 99% of the time your parents already know. Literally your mom, had you in her stomach, and then they birthed you, and they watched you grow up, and they were examining you, and just seeing the things you do, and they can tell. Most of the time they know. Sometimes they're in denial about it, but they do know, and they always have that gut feeling. Around the 8th grade, I remember my dad, once a year he'd always have a talk with me about it. He'd be like, I just want you to know it's okay, God still loves you, me and mom love you, everyone in the family would love you if you were. And that did help. I remember at the time I was just stop talking, don't talk about it, because I didn't want to, accept it at the time. And I just remember having those talks with my dad, were really awkward and uncomfortable, and I didn't want to do it, but, I do thank, him every day for, doing that, and, letting me know that it's okay. The first person I told was my best friend, Angel. I don't even remember how I told her, but I was just, it was about Jake, obviously, because I guess I did end up coming out because of somebody. I came out because of Jake. And, I loved him so much, I thought he was, worth coming out for, which I'm sure a lot of you have experienced. And I told Angel, I was like, hey, I met this, guy, and, he's going to New York, and, do you want to go with me and meet him? Because, my parents wouldn't let me go by myself, so I had to create some type of story to where, I was going there with Angel, just to, stroll around and about New York City. Yeah, I told her, and she was beyond excited for me, she was happy because, I was happy, and throughout my life I have struggled with, depression, and that's just something that I still do have, and I have it all, it's weird, and that is one reason why I don't make videos a lot, is because I just can't, get myself to do it. I can't get myself to do anything. But that's, not what this video is about. Well, maybe another video down that if you guys want to listen about my sadness, about my summertime sadness, but, yeah, so I told Angel, and, she was very supportive of it, and that opened my eyes. I was like, oh my god, maybe, this is okay. It's okay to do this, my dad like went on my phone and like literally I don't know how, but I told him about New York and everything, and he was like, I know you're going to New York to meet somebody. I was like, what? I was like, no I'm not. I was like, no I'm not. I'm going to New York to have a fun weekend getaway with Angel. And he's like, Mickey, I'm not gonna let you go. This was literally at 8:30 in the morning, and my bus left at 9:15. I live like 15 minutes away from the bus station, so like it had to go really quick. And he's like, Mickey, I'm not gonna let you go if you lie about it, you know? And I was like, okay, I am going, you know, to meet, you know, Jake. I've been talking to him for a couple months, and blah, blah, blah. And then my parents were like, okay, it's okay, you can go for the day, but you can't spend the night. So I went there for the day, and I came home, and everything was good, and you know, I really liked Jake a lot. About a week after that, my parents like sat me down and they had like a, sorry, my dogs are fighting. A week after that, my parents sat me down and we had like a talk about it, because we still never really had like an actual talk. Talking to them about, you know, like God and religion. I just remember I started like sobbing. My parents started crying because, you know, they felt bad, and, you know, like they love me and God loves me, and, you know, everybody loves you in the family and everyone will be accept you for you. And that was really nice for me, and just growing up so religious and being taught that it was wrong for so long. My whole thing was just like, I just wanted to be normal, you know, if that makes sense. And I always just felt like it was abnormal, and I didn't, you know, want to be different than everybody else. And I just thought the whole, like one thing I didn't like was like the whole idea of coming out, like having to come out. I just don't think it's fair, because, you know, straight people don't have to come out. Like, why is it fair that I have to, or like any other LGBT plus person? It isn't fair. I don't know where I'm going with this part of the conversation, but yeah, that happened, and my parents, you know, we were crying and they all accepted me, and after that it all got kind of, it was all good from there, and it just like kept going up. Oh, and this bracelet, sorry guys, my little sister gave it to me for Christmas. She said she made it special for me.
It says titty.
Alright, it's not focusing, but just take my word on it, it says titty. Something that nobody really tells you is you don't come out once, you come out over and over again, just to like other family members. And it's not, you know, like obviously my whole family knew after like my parents told them, but you know, you still have to, you know, meet them after coming out, and you have to talk about it. And it gets easier and easier. I still am uncomfortable, you know, like when I meet somebody new and they ask if I have a girlfriend, and I'm like, oh, I have a boyfriend, and you know, I still get like nervous saying that, but yeah, that's what that is. So a question that I did get is like, what actually is your sexuality? And to be honest, I don't really know. Like I hate labels. I don't think it's fair to, you know, put somebody in a box and like keep them in a box and like label them. I like to say I'm like Jake sexual, because that's the only person I like right now, or will like for the rest of my life, is Jake, and the person I'm attracted to is Jake. Yeah. Love you, buddy. But yeah, so I know I thought I was bi for a really long time, and then I thought I was pan, but you know, now I don't really like anybody or even like look at anybody besides Jake, so I don't know. I think it's like a lot of people were asking if I felt like a weight was lifted off my back, if that makes sense. For me personally, not necessarily. I didn't really feel like more, you know, quote unquote free. It just wasn't something that I, you know, I tried just not to let that define me, if that makes sense. I didn't think it was something special. I just thought it was normal and ordinary. Just, you know, people aren't, you know, super proud to be straight. Like that's just what I always, you know, felt like was just act as if it's normal. How do I react to hate or non-supporting family members or friends? I haven't really experienced that, but you know, if anybody is non-supportive, you know, fuck them. Like that's my advice. Who cares if they're not supportive? They're not you. Just push them out. You know, unless it's like your mom or dad, then you know, they will come around eventually. I've even seen that with like some of my family members who weren't like totally like loving the idea of, you know, me dating somebody that's the same sex, you know. My one family member, like, very religious, very traditional, did not like the idea at all. 2 months later, she's calling me on the phone, you know, asking me how Jake is, and asking me how I'm gonna move to Colorado, and, you know, being excited for me about doing that. So, like, a family, like, somebody's love for you is stronger than anything. And, you know, they won't let something like that get in the way of loving you. That's, like, my advice. Did I date anyone before Jake was another really asked question, and I actually never dated anybody. For a long time, I've never had like an actual crush on anybody besides Jake. Like I never saw myself date. I thought I was gonna like die alone. I didn't think I was gonna like date anybody, because I never really genuinely liked anybody. You know, I had like sexual attraction to some girls and some guys, but I never, you know, felt like a connection to where I was like, oh my god, like I love them. And then, you know, I believe in love at first sight. Like, you know, once I saw Jake, I was like, oh my god, like my heart just, I felt it in my chest. It was like beating so fast, and like it was just such an amazing feeling. And I'm so, oh, I can't even like talk about it because it makes me so, you know, happy. Did you date any girls before you came out? And like I said, I never dated anybody besides Jake. Jake's the only person I ever dated. But there's this really funny story. I went to the Chainsmokers concert because because that was me sophomore year of high school.
Chainsmokers.
But I went to the Chainsmokers concert and I was with this girl like the whole concert. She had me on Snapchat and we never really talked, but literally a year later after that, when Jake posted that like meet my boyfriend video of me and Jake, I go on Snapchat and she literally Snapchatted me. She was like, hey, do you remember me? I was like,
yeah, I remember you.
And she was like, I saw your video with you and your boyfriend. I just want to say congratulations and I'm really happy for you. And I was like, that is such a geek. Feeling awkward around family members is very normal, you know, after you first come out. Like I remember I felt really awkward around my parents for like 2 months. Like I was really, even though they were so supportive and they liked it, I just felt, you know, there was some type of like uncomfortable thing. And, you know, after like a month or two, it goes away. Like it just like classical conditioning. You just get used to seeing them again and then you're like, it's, you know, it's nothing too big, it's normal. Yeah, I do want to say though, if you really do feel like your, you know, mom or dad or whoever your guardian isn't going to accept you for it, or like, you know, you fear for your life, or you fear they're going to kick you out, don't do it. It's not, you know, you can wait till you're 18 or till you're financially stable, and then, you know, you hit them with, you let them know, you know, you hit them with that information, you know, throw it their way. Call them up and spill the tea, you know, from college, or when you can financially support yourself, to where like if they're not supportive, it won't hurt you. You know, and they will eventually, I do think, will come around, you know, if it takes a month or if it takes a year or 5 years, you know, eventually they will see that it's nothing, it's not that big of a deal, you know, it's you. Alright, sorry about that guys, my camera died because I'm a piece of shit and never charge my camera even though I never film. But yeah. Another question I had was like, did anybody ever bully you for coming out or anything like that? And no, everyone at school's been really nice. Like I live in a pretty liberal area. And you know, I mean, I wish someone would. Just kidding, no I don't, but you know, have something to say, you can say it to my face and we'll see what happens. Do I feel like I'm happier in a better place? And yeah, I do feel a lot happier. But I think that is just because, you know, I met Jake and I have such like an amazing person in my life and, you know, someone that gave my life meaning, I guess. How do my siblings react? My siblings love Jake more than anything, you know, they're really accepting, they're all really nice. They actually like Jake more than me, so yeah. So I guess, you know, my advice to take away for people that are trying to come out is just, most of the time your family, you know, your parents at least will still love you no matter what, and eventually they will accept you for it, I think. And some people will surprise you, you know, some people you think would never support it will end up supporting you, and some people who you think would, won't. And I just say, like, if you know your parents are supportive, you know, and you are really scared to, you know, do it, just do it, you know. As Nike says, just do it.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Or not, you know, go with the flow. Go whenever you think you're ready to tell somebody, just do it. You know, maybe start with like your best friend, your mom or your dad, and somebody that you think would be easiest to tell. It starts by telling your friend, and then, you know, you get hyped up from that, and then you kind of, you know, build your confidence and courage about it from there. But I think we've come to the end of the video, guys, and I hope that this video helped, you know, somebody out there, and I hope that you guys feel normal and feel perfect, and just know that, you know, you were born that way, and there's nothing wrong with it. Alright guys, so Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next one.